Have mercy. He retired as a Raider. He went there, and then he froze his feet. He caused all this controversy to try to get traded. He badmouthed the coach. He badmouthed the quarterback. He badmouthed the general manager. Never played it down and then got cut. If you just stick to the football field, he's a Steeler legend. That 6-year stretch that he had is literally unmatched. If you had Antonio Brown on your fantasy league team, he led you to fantasy league football victories. Him by himself. Does he deserve to have his number retired? Absolutely not. You can't be bad-mouthing your quarterback like that. He burned every bridge that Pittsburgh has. And there's a whole bunch of bridges in Pittsburgh. But is he still a Steeler legend based on what he did on the field? 100% absolutely.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, everybody? What is happening? This is your man, Big B, and welcome back to Big B Daily, man. Whew, it seems like I haven't talked to you guys forever, man. How y'all been doing, Goon Squad? Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Appreciate everybody showing up, man. A lot has happened. I hope everybody had a good holiday, had a good weekend. I appreciate you all being in here. First things first, I want to let you guys know where I am at, the DFW area. We are having some crazy, crazy storms. So we might lose power. That's a strong possibility. 70 to 80 mile per hour winds are going on right now. There's a fire that's behind an elementary school is about 100 yards from my house. There's a house that's on fire right behind it. So if you hear sirens, or if the power goes out, I'm just letting y'all know, man. It is what it is. I can't do anything about it. Mother Nature has wreaked havoc on the DFW area the last few days, man. So I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. And just be patient with me. But again, as always, we are live. Thank you guys for showing up. We got a lot to cover today. The Celtics, they sweep. So they take out in Indiana. I think everybody thought they were going to win the series. And the Celtics are moving on to the finals. We'll talk about, have the Celtics even been challenged in the finals? Or was this series more of a challenge because every single game was close? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Mavs, how they're looking to close out the Wolves tonight. I think they get it done. I just think the Wolves are overmatched. What we talked about with OKC not having experience, yeah, neither do the Wolves. So, and it's showing its ugly head right now. And then Bill Walton. Bill Walton passed away from cancer. I didn't even know he had cancer. He dies yesterday, unfortunately. I was a big-time Bill Walton fan. I was a huge Bill Walton fan. I know some people thought he was crazy, and he was. And I know some people thought that, his announcing style was out there. It was, but I thought it was funny. I thought it was insightful. I thought he was good. So either way, man, I appreciate y'all being in here. Let's get this thing going for everybody. Look, as always, make sure if you like what we're doing, make sure to continue. If you want to continue to support the show, make sure you click, follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want your question brought to the top, make sure you always send either a super chat, gift, whatever. You can control the conversation as we move forward. I appreciate you guys. Let's get this going. Also, make sure if you're on a certain platform that if you don't want to get frozen up on, I happen to be looking right at you, make sure you click on the live link in my bio. You'll come right over to a different link where you won't get locked up on. So let's talk about these Celtics, man. The Celtics sweep the Pacers. They win another game last night. Let me just start by saying this. I don't think the Celtics actually looked great in this series. There's at least two games that I think the Pacers gave them. Game 1 and Game 3. The Pacers just gave the game away. I mean, literally. The Game 1, oh my God. I mean, they had the Game 1, and they just said, nope, we don't want to win it. Here you go, Celtics. Game 3, same thing. Even without Halliburton, they had the game, and they just pissed down their leg and just handed it over to the Celtics. So my question to everybody is this was a sweep, but it didn't actually feel like one. Every game was close. Every game was contested. It just seemed because the Celtics were better, the end of games, the Pacers just couldn't keep it together. They just couldn't figure out how to end games, and the Celtics beat them. I saw something that Charles Barkley said, and I 100% agree that the Celtics have been getting by on talent alone, that they haven't done a whole lot. Like, they're not out coaching. They're not running a bunch of plays. I agree with Chuck. I agree with all of that. But it's not their fault. You can only beat who's in front of you. You know, they beat the Pacers. You know, they beat the Heat. Who did they beat in the second round? I can't even remember. It was so I just Cleveland. And I'm just like, these games, I'm just like, they haven't really even been challenged, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. But it just hasn't really even been challenged. So, but the bottom line is, I think the Celtics have just been that much better. And the standings in the East proved it. The Celtics were so much better than everybody else in the East that it wasn't funny. What would they win by like 13 games or something over the number 2 seed in the East? I mean, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So, and what was it? I think the number 2 seed in the East would have been in the play-in game in the West. To me, I think that's hilarious. That is hilarious. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Bottom line, Celtics move on. Couple of takeaways from it. Jaylen Brown, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He played better than Jason Tatum. Yes, he did. Does that mean he's a better player? No. But it means he played better than him. He absolutely did. And I don't think it was just in this Indiana series. I think up to this point in the playoffs, Jaylen Brown has been the better player of the two. I think Jaylen Brown has been the better player. And maybe Jason Tatum is like, okay, now we're in the finals. Now I got to turn it on. I got to show everybody that I'm a top 5 player in this league. I got to redeem myself from how I played in the finals 2 years ago. Now it's time to turn this up a notch. They're going to get some rest. Supposedly, they're going to get Porzingis back. And now we can see what Boston can do. We will see what Boston can do. But congratulations to Jaylen Brown. Another thing about Jaylen Brown. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Now, I went back and forth with the guy that produces all the shows. You see all the good graphics and fun graphics up there. That's the guy that behind the scenes does all that stuff for me. And he's one of my best friends in this entire world. We're the same age, so we remember when men were men and basketball was basketball. And he is screaming that Jaylen Brown should have been a flagrant foul on Jaylen Brown because he touched TJ McConnell's face. He hit him in the face. And my thing is, hey, man, he was going for the ball. He didn't punch him because he tried to say he punched him. I'm like, he didn't punch him. He's trying to knock the ball away, and he accidentally hit him in the face. It's basketball. It happens. Move on. Do y'all think it should have been a flagrant foul? I'm asking you. Do you guys think it should have been a flagrant foul? I don't think so. I think, hey, man, he didn't mean to. He's going for the ball. Yeah, he hit him in the face. It is what it is. But let's play basketball. Side out. And that's essentially what the ref said. Say, hey, unfortunately, he hit him in the face, but we saw what he was doing. He was going for the ball. Common foul. Let's move on. I like it. And that doesn't mean we're going back to 80s or 90s basketball where guys literally could send you to the hospital and kill you. I don't think that's what it was. But what I do think is it was I don't even think it was a physical play. A guy reached in and accidentally hit a guy in the face. That's all it was. So I don't know. Like I said, No, it wasn't back. Like my man Wican says, when men were men, and when the Pistons were trying to hurt people, they weren't trying to hurt people. They were hurting people. I don't think it was anything like that. I think that it was just, hey, it's a play. LTB Sports says, by the rules, it should have been a flagrant. One free throw, side out. No. And I think the refs are like, hey, man, it's playoff basketball. What are we doing? He hit the guy in the face. Guys get hit in the face from time to time. It happens. He didn't punch him. He didn't throw an elbow at him. He didn't set a screen and move out and throw his shoulder into his face. That's not what happened. He accidentally hit the guy trying to strip the ball. I mean, let's stop being soft. Let's just play basketball. So that's where we're at with it. So that's what I like that they didn't call it. So I like it. I do like it. I don't know about you guys, but like I said, I like basketball, physical basketball. I like that we have free range of movement, but you know what? Contact happens. And sometimes contact to the face is going to happen. It's just the way it works. So let's talk about a couple other things. Is this Al Horford? Is this his last chance to win a ring? Probably. I think Al Horford's probably going to retire after this year, and I think this is his last chance to win. And Al Horford, when his contributions aren't consistent like they used to be and haven't been consistently great, but every now and then he'll throw in one like he did game 3. Every now and then. So, and then Derek White. I think Derek White is the key to the season. I love how they change. Everybody told me that Boston was losing something when they traded Marcus Smart. They were going to lose that dog. They were going to lose that fight. And I'm like, first of all, Derek White is going to get more minutes because he's a better basketball player than Marcus Smart. Number 2, who would you rather have on your team? Marcus Smart or Drew Holiday? I don't even know why that was up for a discussion on whether Drew Holiday was as good as Marcus Smart. You're right. He isn't just as good. He's way better. Way better. So for people to think that for some reason that they were going to be a worse team, either you're in Marcus Smart's family or you don't watch enough NBA basketball to understand. But there was no way the Celtics were going to be worse. No way. Not even close. Not to mention Derek White and Drew Holiday are 2 of the best on-ball defenders in the league. And they proved it all year long. They proved it here in the playoffs. It just is what it is, people. It is what it is. So good for them. Good for the Celtics. They're moving on. Speaking of moving on, we're moving on as well. Again, as always, people, as a reminder, Big B Daily, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. We appreciate you all being here. We are always live for the most part. But we appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys for showing up. Yeah, look at this. Jaylen Brown. Unbelievable. Come on, people. It was an accident. He didn't club the guy. He didn't punch the guy. First of all, the still picture is nonsense. Okay? We act like he hit him in the face and then stopped. That's not what happened. That is not what happened. In either way, the refs got it right. Common foul, side out. That's all it was. And because TJ McConnell's lighting the ass, it looked worse than what it actually was. Stop it. Common foul, side out, move on. And we're moving on. Dallas Mavericks looking for their own sweep. Yeah, I think this one's over. And let me start off with the Timberwolves. Let me start off there. The Timberwolves, and I think this is a good point. And there it is, my man Wakan. Before I could even get it out, my man Wakan. Rudy Gobert, defensive player of the year. Fraud. Yeah. Bad matchup. It is. But here's the reason that it's a bad matchup. This is Karl Anthony Towns' fault. And let me explain why. Karl Anthony Towns has decided that all he wants to do is be a three-point shooter. Last game was the epitome of that. Of, again, the softness of the NBA. You're 7 feet tall, and all you want to do is stand out and shoot threes and miss them, by the way. 7 feet tall, you got a 6'6" guy guarding you, and you don't want to take his ass in the post? Nope, you're not going to do that. You're going to stand outside and shoot a bunch of threes and miss them. And, I mean, late in the game, do y'all remember late in the game, Karl Anthony Towns gets the ball. He's already 0 for 7 from 3. And he said, you know what? Heat check. I'm feeling it. 0 for 8. I'm just like, oh, my goodness. Now, we can get on Rudy, and we can say Rudy can't play. Rudy's not defending. You know, he shouldn't have been defensive player of the year. And all that can be true. But the Timberwolves are losing this series because of Karl Anthony Towns. Let's make no mistake about that. Number one, Dallas has played better. But number two, Karl Anthony Towns has played so soft, and that's why they're losing. You know, it's tough to place blame on just one person for why you lose a game, why you lose a series. But we can point to Karl Anthony Towns' play, and it's been pathetic. Let's not kid ourselves. It's been pathetic. I mean, how many 4 for 32 in this series? At some point, don't you just say, enough's enough? Enough's enough. But nope, enough isn't enough. So, I don't know. It is, and I don't think it's 4 for 32 in the series. I think it's 4 for 32 in the playoffs. Either way, the bottom line, he got to stop shooting so many threes. He's got to stop shooting so many threes. Get your big ass in the post, cat, and stop playing like a kitten. And just go play. But nope, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. Maybe he'll do it in game 4. Backs against the wall. Maybe he'll decide, you know what? I got to stop standing out here and just taking all these threes. You know, because I'm the best big man shooter of all time. I'm the best big three-point shooter of all time. And maybe you should just say, you know what? Maybe I can just go inside and score because I'm closer to the basket. You know, I know shooting three-pointers has become so trendy. But you know what? If you don't make them, how about you just get a 5-footer? How about you make a 5-footer? How about you make an 8-footer? How about you make a dunk? How about we do that? Or you can just keep chucking them up. But that's my point. Just change your game. Change your game, man. Make a decision. Be tough. Be mentally tough. Lord have mercy. It's just sad. It's just sad. Now, we can blame Rudy. We can be all over Rudy. But if we're being honest, Rudy is doing his job. I mean, Rudy shouldn't have to guard these guards out there. He shouldn't have to do that. That's not what he does. He is a rim protector. That's what he does. He shouldn't have to be out there guarding Luka or Kyrie and guarding those guards out there. It's a bad defensive strategy. They have every time that Kyrie and Luka are in a pick and roll, the Timberwolves should blitz them, double team them, make them get the ball out of their hands every single time. And if they get it back and they go to a pick and roll again, double team them again. Every single time. And make somebody else beat you. In last series against Denver, they started doing that. Other people beat them. But that's okay. Make somebody else beat you. They're not doing that. And this is the result. This is the result. So good for Dallas. Luka and Kyrie have just taken over the series. They have taken over the series. So that's all I'm saying. Luka and Kyrie are doing their thing. Kyrie is the leader of that team. While Luka's the best player, Kyrie is the leader. He is leading the Mavs, showing them the way. They are showing them the way. So, and here's a good Darren Howard talking about I shot 1,500 shots a day. Yeah. I mean, y'all heard that. That's what Cat said. I'm shooting 1,500 shots a day. The whole TNT crew, everybody, including even Ernie, said he was lying. Even he said he was lying. When do you have time to shoot 1,500 shots a day on off days? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You ain't doing that in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals, on an off day, shooting 1,500 shots. Stop lying. And either way, maybe you should save your legs because it ain't working. It damn sure ain't working. So take a day off. Find your rhythm doing something else. Go play Monopoly or something. Lord have mercy. This is ridiculous. But good for the Mavs, man. Good for the Mavs. Derek Lively is going to be out. That was an ugly hit to the back of the head. Hurt his neck. I think they're saying neck. I think he got a concussion. Because when he got up, he was wobbly as hell. I think he's got a concussion. So I think it's going to be good for the Mavs if they can win this and close it out tonight, which I think they will. I think they're going to close this thing out tonight. The Timberwolves will quit. If the Mavs get out early, the Timberwolves will quit. They'll fold. And they get some rest so they can have Lively full strength when they go to the finals against the Celtics. Now, here's another point that we got to bring up. While Ant-Man had a decent game last game and he had a good stretch, what's he been like in the Western Conference Finals? I was one that said Ant-Man is next. I said Anthony Edwards is the real deal. But I'm also a person that said if you're the real deal, you got to show me you're the real deal at all times, especially when it's the biggest moments. And right now, Anthony Edwards is not showing us that he's the next guy in the big moments. He's not. Luka's doing it, but Anthony Edwards is not. So, and there's going to be some people out there that say, well, he can't do it alone. Hey, he hadn't been doing it alone because until game 3, he hadn't done it at all. And I don't want the excuse of being tired either. Although we can physically see that he's worn down, don't be worn down. You're 22 years old, man. You're 22 years old. You got to find a way. Yeah, this will teach you. Again, we talked about experience. This will teach you. Whatever you're doing conditioning-wise, you need to do more. Whatever you're doing in the offseason conditioning-wise, you got to do more. Because if you're going to play till June, you got to be conditioned to play till June. And we've seen him walking up the court on offense and defense, just gassed. I'm not saying he's not playing hard. So I don't want you to confuse me saying that he's tired, meaning he's not playing hard. I think he's playing as hard as he possibly can. But we don't give passes for fatigue. That's not what we do. That's not what people do. You don't get a pass because you're tired. I'm sorry. You just don't. And right now, Anthony Edwards looks tired. He's playing tired. But sorry, you got to find another gear, brother. You got to suck it up. We love you. We want you to succeed. But you got to find another gear. You got to find another gear. But this series is over. And usually I'm not one to say a series is over until the buzzer sounds in the last clinching game. I'm not that guy. This is over. And even if the Mavs don't win game 4, which I truly expect for them to do, they'll end it in game 5. They've shown that they're mentally tough enough to win it in Game 5. So that's all. That's all. Uh-oh. We got our daily crazy take from Houses of the Holy. The only person that could bring the Wolves back down 3-0 is if 2018 King James, a.k.a. the chosen one. Since he's not, they're done. I told you we're going to keep putting his takes up here, people. They're crazy and outlandish, but we're going to keep putting them up there. And no, LeBron, even 2000, whatever, LeBron isn't bringing anybody back from 3-0. So, sorry. But the Timberwolves are cooked. Experience matters, people. Experience matters. Experience matters. It's one of the reasons why the Pacers got beat. Now, the Pacers weren't as good as the Celtics, but the Pacers couldn't finish basketball games that they had. Experience. Same thing is going on here. Experience. The Mavs are figuring out how to win games. Hell, Game 2, they trailed the whole damn game. The whole game until the end. Until they had to make the plays to win the game. Then the Mavs made them. The Wolves didn't. Now it's a 3-0 series, and this series is over. So, it's over. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. My man Ty, what's going on, Ty? I know you're a Timberwolves fan, and that's what he said. I'm a Timberwolves fan from Minnesota. I know they're screwed because they can't finish. Exactly. They just can't, Ty. And it's a learning process. We talked about it all the time. Nobody just goes from being irrelevant to champion. Nobody does that. There's steps. There's levels. We talked about this at the very beginning of the playoffs. People, my man Pat Cockrell, he was for sure Oklahoma City was going to make it. And I said, hold on, man. Experience matters. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And it's the same thing as happened in Minnesota. I mean, I was a person who didn't even think Minnesota would get this far. I thought Denver would handle them. I was wrong. But experience reared its ugly head. And here we are. Here we are. So, look, my man Super Golden Chris chiming in saying Boston in 5. That's who he's predicting. He is a Luka hater, people. This guy, Super Golden Chris, is a Luka hater. He'll tell you that Luka's not very good. He's overrated. I don't know how you're overrated, averaging 34, 9, and 10. I don't know how you're overrated, but okay. But now he's on the cusp of going to the NBA Finals. But overrated. Now, I did hear this. Let me ask you all this question before we move on here. Paul Pierce, who makes the most outlandish statements, takes of any technical NBA analysis or analyst guy out there. Number one, he hates LeBron because LeBron was better than him. But that's besides the point. He said that if the Mavs win the finals, and if Luka's the MVP, that Luka would be labeled or should be labeled the best player in the world and the new face of the NBA. And he also said the same thing about Jason Tatum. What do you guys think? You guys in on that? I think Paul Pierce actually might be onto something. Usually, like I said, he says crazy things. But I think he actually might be onto something. So, he might be onto something. Either way, I'm looking forward to these finals. And I know I'm talking and the Mavs haven't clinched anything yet. The Wolves are not coming back from 3-0. They're just not. That's not happening. Hell, you could give them the next 2 games. The Mavs will end it in 6. So it's not happening. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. The Timberwolves put on a good showing, man. They put on a great showing. They just got to come back stronger next year. One of the things is, and this is, I think, is key, if you think about the Timberwolves, they acted like they had won the NBA Finals when they beat the Denver Nuggets. They acted like they had won. Well, that was the second round, people. That was just the second round. And again, experience. You didn't win anything. All you won was the second round against the champs. There's 2 more rounds to go before you can be labeled the champ. By the way, you're not getting out of the next round. So it is what it is. Again, as always, people, Monday through Friday, Big B Daily. We're live, 9 a.m. Central Time. We appreciate everybody being here. One of the platforms shut down. We'll try to get it back up here. I'll try to get this thing back up and moving. But anyway, let's move on as we do that. Bill Walton passed away yesterday, people. I didn't even know Bill Walton was sick. Didn't know he was sick. Now, granted, it's not my place to know. Didn't know he was sick with cancer. Bill Walton passed away. Look, I like Bill Walton. I know a lot of people thought he was crazy, and he was. A lot of people thought Bill Walton was out of touch. He wasn't. He knew exactly what was going on in today's game. They thought his announcing was wild. It was. I thought it was hilarious. I thought some of the stuff that Bill Walton said, I'm like, I mean, you see a documentary, he's talking about the worst day of my life, the time that they lost in the NCAA championship. I was a disappointment. You could tell he was destroyed by it. Bill Walton was genuine. He fought for causes that he believed needed to be fought for, and it didn't matter the repercussions. Like, he got arrested while he was at UCLA. Oh, and by the way, before Bill Walton got hurt, before his body and his feet gave out on him, Bill Walton was one of the best centers in the history of basketball. I'm going to tell you this again. And one of the greatest centers in the history of basketball. Now, you're going to get comments like this about guys that don't know basketball. Bill Walton, great guy, but average player. See, you're going to get comments like that to people that don't watch enough basketball. Before Bill Walton got hurt, first of all, in an NCAA championship game, the guy went 21 for 22 from the field. Let's just start there. 21 for 22. That's what he did. Now you can say, well, he was better than everybody. Well, so was Kareem. He never did that. So was Elvin Hayes. He never did that. You know how many good college players never did anything like that? Before Walton got hurt and his body gave out on him, one of the best centers. Now, you can say his NBA career was bad because he was hurt all the time. Okay, I'm with that. I'll agree with that. But here's something to keep in mind. The one year that Bill Walton was actually healthy, early in his career, his team won the NBA title. The one year he was healthy, they won the title in his prime. I mean, you know, the guy was great. He was an even better person, but the people that say he was average, they didn't see Bill Walton play, or they don't understand basketball. It's one of the two. Or they just don't like the guy, which, okay, that's fine too. But when he was healthy, Bill Walton could go. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He could go. He could go. I'm not saying he was Kareem, but he wasn't that far away from Kareem. He wasn't that far away from Kareem. I can assure you of that. He could run. He could jump. He could pass. He could shoot. He could literally do it all. Now, we talk about how the game progressed and how the game is today. A healthy Bill Walton would thrive in today's basketball. He would thrive. Because outside of shooting three-pointers, which you never saw him do, because that's not what big guys were doing back then. They couldn't do that. But everything else, as far as dribbling, passing, running the court, Bill Walton could do all of that. Shoot out to 18 feet. Bill Walton could do all of that. He could do all of it. All of it. So that's all I'm saying. Bill Walton was that guy. He was that guy. But an even better man. Like I said, he got arrested on UCLA campus fighting against the Vietnam War, doing things that he believed in. And I think he was even, look, obviously I wasn't alive, and I'm not sure anybody in here was alive, maybe a few people, when he was actually playing in college, per se. But what he did for the Pac-12, he loved the Pac-12 conference. He was devastated that the Pac-12 went away. And him calling games, it was comic hour. I mean, and he would just say, "What are you doing? Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. How many three-pointers are you going to take?" If he was watching Karl Anthony Towns, Bill Walton would literally say, "Jiminy Christmas, Karl Anthony Towns, how many three-pointers are you going to miss?" I love it. He called it like it was. I was a disgrace to the game of basketball today. And there you go. That was Bill Walton, man. That was Bill Walton. Good guy, great basketball player. Bill Walton. And like I said, didn't even know he was sick. And again, that's not our place to know. Some people want to keep all that private. I understand, and I respect it. But Bill Walton was that guy. He was that guy. Died at 71. Too young. Too young. Well, let's move on, people. And to be honest with you, I'm probably going to have to go here in a minute. I'm not feeling well. Some of that smoke from that fire that I was telling you all has seeped into my house. And I have developed, since I've been talking to you guys, a crazy headache. Ugh. It is, at first, it's still pouring down raining, but that smoke, the wind is blowing like crazy still, and it has somehow seeped into my house. Whew. So we'll go as long as we can go here. But anyway, let's move on to Q&A section, people. Let's move on to Q&A section. What do you guys got? OTAs with football are coming up. All that good stuff. The Mavs, they're going to close this thing out tonight. The Celtics. Bring on the questions. Bring on the comments. We will get this thing going. My man Pat Cockrell says, I loved him Bill Walton, that is, calling college basketball. Nothing like hearing the reference, the Conference of Champions, while calling the most mid-basketball games between Oregon State and Colorado. Absolutely. The Conference of Champions, and it could be a horrible basketball game. Bill Walton made it sound outstanding. So, who do I have in the finals? I got the Celtics. I'm rooting for the Mavs, but I believe the Celtics in 7. I think it's going to go 7, and I like the Celtics. I think the Celtics are just better. So, I think they're just better. They're a man or two better, especially if Porzingis comes back. And if Porzingis can play 70 to 75%, yeah, the Dallas doesn't have anybody that can do anything with him. So, not that he's going to score 35 points a game. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if Porzingis is back, they're going to beat Dallas. So, but that I do want to see him back. I want to see him back. I want to see Lively back. I want to see both teams at full strength. Everybody out there playing, and let's just see what we can do. Let's just see what happens. So, but I do think the Mavs close this one out tonight. Like I said, they get out to a lead, middle of the second quarter, the Timberwolves will cancel Christmas and call it a night. They'll call it a night. So, coming off a double sweep, who do you have winning the NBA title? Yep, the Celtics. It goes to show you the Celtics have fallen short for quite a while. This probably is their year. I don't think the Celtics have necessarily fallen short for quite a while. I think they fell short against Golden State because I think they were better than they were. But like we mentioned before, you got to grow. You got to learn. Everybody just can't come and win and be good and win. It's a learning process. Not to mention Jason Tatum, what is he, 26? I mean, somebody the other day was arguing with me on another platform. Yep, this is Jason Tatum. This is the Celtics' last chance to win. I'm like, hold on a second. They're running out of time. He's 26 years old. What do you mean he's running out of time? How do you run out of time? You're 26. I mean, are people retiring at 28 years old now? Is that what it is? I don't think so. So I have no idea what some people, this is not their last opportunity. There's going to be other opportunities. So we'll see. We will see. We will see. Mm-mm-mm. Let's move on. Let's move on. Sorry about that. Here's the thing. Has Paul Pierce been the best addition for Undisputed after Shannon's departure? I think so, because they needed some crazy. They needed something. I mean, hell, as many people were watching Undisputed that came in this live every day. Lord have mercy. I mean, nobody was watching Undisputed anymore. So, yeah, good for them. Get some crazy back in there. Keyshawn showing up every day. He was just not a basketball guy. You needed some basketball guys. So, does anybody still even pay attention to Undisputed? I haven't watched Undisputed in months. I haven't. And I gave it a try. I wasn't the guy that said, I'm not watching because Shannon Sharp left. I'm never going to watch it anymore. I gave it an opportunity. I thought it stunk. I thought it was terrible. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this. So, my man Ty said, I was surprised the Pacers made it. Yeah, the Pacers, the Pacers were a good basketball team. I think they were a little underrated. I think they lost some games due to injury earlier in the season, that if you win half of those games, their record would have been better. So they would have been a higher seed. But I thought the Pacers were a good basketball team. They're still a player or two away, for sure. They're still a player or two away. But I think they can figure some stuff out. My man Pat Cockrell, I love the Cowboys, but it's clowns like Skip Bayless that give us a bad name. Well, no, actually, no. Because although Skip is big into the fandom, he'll call the BS when he sees it. He will call out BS. He roots for Dallas unapologetically, just like I root for the Steelers unapologetically. I absolutely will. But having said that, when you see the BS, Skip will call it out. How many? Now, granted, it's for TV and it's for clicks. He thrown away Dak's jersey, he threw away Micah Parsons' jersey, and before that, he threw away Zeke's jersey. We understand why he's doing that. But then he'll come on the show the next day and just say they played lousy. Like, he wants no part of Dak Prescott being his quarterback anymore. He wants him out. Now, I don't know who you're going to get, but he's like, yeah, he can't do it. It's time to move on. We've seen it. 8 years is enough. And I think he might actually be right. He might be right. So, he might be right. Steelers almighty, don't ask silly questions. Do the Steelers need another Le'Veon Bell in order to contend for a title? No, we don't need another Le'Veon Bell. Don't get me wrong, Le'Veon Bell was great until he became ignorant and his agent basically talked him out of having a career. Talked him into missing an entire season, giving away $13 million, signing for less money than what the Steelers had offered him before, going to a horrible franchise, 3 years, and then you're out of the league. Yikes. Yeah. You need to sue your agent because he's horrible. You advise other people, yeah, my agent is terrible. Terrible. But whatever. So, why do Kelsey and Mahomes spend so much time in Dallas? Saw Kelsey at the Stars game too. Yeah, Kelsey was there. Mahomes lives here. That's one thing. Mahomes has a house in Dallas. So in the offseason, he lives in Dallas. I mean, where would you rather be? I mean, dealing with Kansas City winners or Dallas winners? So Mahomes lives in Texas. He lives in outside of Dallas in the DFW area. So that's why he's here. Now, why Kelsey is here, I don't know. But again, look, I'm not bad mouthing Kansas City. I used to lived there for 11 years. Great city. But where would you rather hang out? In Dallas or Kansas City? That's an easy answer. So, but I don't know. I don't know. Look, people, I'm going to shut this one down for today. I apologize. Like I said, had some bad weather. Smoke has seeped into my house and from a fire that's across the road behind the elementary school that's right across the street from my house. So we're going to shut this one down for the day, man. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday through Friday, Big B Daily. Again, we appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Love you guys. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody out there, we appreciate it. And let's get this thing going tomorrow. Again, I apologize today. I know we usually go about an hour. Not going to be able to make that happen today. So I apologize. We'll holler at you tomorrow. Aloha.